Hello everybody. Today I've got another little bit of a ramble video for you, but this time we're going to start it off with something that's less rambly than normal. So, I am a big fan of clue scrolls in RuneScape and old school RuneScape. For those that don't know, um the clue scroll is part of the treasure trails little distraction and diversion. The premise is you kill something and from it you get a little scroll and you read the scroll and it has a little like clue leading you to either another clue or a treasure. And um in those two versions of that game, the scrolls lead you to a bunch of various like regular stuff, but then they have tons of unique things that are only obtainable from those clues. I don't think having a bunch of unique things would be realistic, and so as such, I feel that there's no need for them to be multiple steps. They could all just be one single step. But I would really like it if that sort of system were to be added to Wynncraft. Um, I was when I first started playing, I was like, man, it would be really cool if these were in Wynncraft. But using Wynncraft's like existing systems that they have, I wasn't sure if it was something that they could do without like modding things. But then we got the festivals, and now I'm convinced it is possible. Very possible. So, allow me to break it down for you. So, I want to introduce a treasure key to Wynncraft. I would love it if that was a thing. I'm calling it treasure keys just because you're opening a special chest, so it's a key. So the purpose behind this is to both give like endgame players an alternative to loot running that would allow them to actually, be able to farm some loot. It wouldn't be like equal to or greater than loot running, but it would make it to where you don't have to do the exact same thing all the time, and it would allow you to actually, work towards getting some loot when other people are loot running. So like say you play only at peak time, and at the time that you're playing, all the chests are getting looted and you never get to actually loot any good chests. You could go and do this instead, because this would be like a personalized thing and it would be unique to you. So the keys themselves, treasure keys, would be a rare drop from all mobs and all tiers of chests. They would be the same chance to be dropped as a legendary item would be. So they'd be, not super common, but not like super rare either, like fucking mythics or anything. So it'd be something that when you're like in late game, you'd get like a pretty steady flow of them coming in, but in early game, like you'd get them once in a while and they'd be like an exciting thing to get. Or as an alternative way to get them, to make this content side of the game a little more involved and make people actually, interact with it a bit more besides just the absolute like final one, and it would make people do that one a bit more too. But boss altars, make it a guaranteed drop from a boss altar. You're guaranteed to get one of these keys from the boss altar when you beat the boss. I think that would make it, you know, something that people would like actually strive for. And then it would also have the side effect of drastically increasing the price of whatever ingredients are used for said altar, as people are now buying them out. So you might want to increase the amount needed while you're at it. Just because you'd cut down the amount needed, but people weren't really interested in doing them. But if they had a reason to do them, maybe increasing it again. But that's a balancing thing for the internal team. I don't know about all that stuff. So I would say that spread throughout the Wynncraft map, there would be somewhere in the range of 80 to 100 little boxes, like the ones from the scavenger hunt during the Festival of the Heroes. And each key would open a random one of those boxes. So, like, the key would drop, and it would just pick a random one of those boxes that it would then lead you to. The keys themselves would function similarly to the spiritual tuner from the Festival of the Spirits, so when right-clicked, it would guide you in the direction of your treasure. So we're taking the system that we used only in the Festival of the Spirits, that Wynncraft, like, through upgrading their game systems, was able to actually introduce, and I feel that, you know, use it. Put it in the game as, like, a permanent feature as part of these little keys. Why not? Where's the farm? When you find the box that the key is leading to, you would, like, right click on the box and it would consume the key. Key would go away, and it would open a, like, personal tier 3 chest that is always treated as if it was sitting there untouched for like 5 hours or more, so that the chest was always full of loot. So you'd go and you'd open it, and instead of getting like 5, 7, 10 items, you'd get a full 27 items in that chest. Be packed full of emeralds and powders and weapons and armor and potions and freaking ingredient pouches, accessories, like everything. You'd get all of it. Not every individual one of them. You'd get it like it was a full tier 3 chest all the time. The treasure keys would have to be untradeable. They would be a little obnoxious if you could just farm mobs or loot run and get the keys while you're loot running and then just sell them on the market to somebody else. So if that were to be the thing, someone could just go buy dozens or hundreds of keys and then just go open all of the keys. Which is, I mean, it serves the same purpose in the long run, but it also defeats the whole point of giving you a key to get you a personalized treasure if you can just sell it off to someone else. The keys would each have a level corresponding to what you got it from. These would be in 5-level intervals so that you're not literally having 105 fucking treasure keys in the game, because I think 105 of them would be a bit absurd. I know the max level is 106, but 106 is cosmetic. There's nothing after 105 in terms of content or anything. So there'd be key every 5 levels, basically. So there'd be one for level 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way up to 105. And if you kill a mob, it would drop the key closest to its level, ideally, but depending on how the drop system has to be calculated out, it is also possible that that's not a realistic thing to set it to, and instead it could drop the key either immediately above or below its level. So ideally, if you were to kill like a level 16 mob, it would drop a level 15 key, but in practice, with the way the Wynncraft loot system works, it might also be necessary for, not necessary, it might also be like required for it to be able to drop the higher level one as well, because things drop items within 4 levels of their level. And so the level 16, it would be able to drop the level 15, it's 1 level away, but then it would also be able to drop the level 20, because that's 4 levels above. So that's realistically how that would end up going. Ideally, I would like it if it was just the closest to its level, but I understand the necessity of, not necessity, I understand that it might not be feasible to change the way the drop system works for that specific item's level. Keys would be broken into 4 rarity tiers based on their level. And the purpose of these rarity tiers is to dictate which group of chests they can pull from for the random little, not group of chests, group of boxes they could pull from for the random little one you'd go to open to get your chest. So for instance, if you go and you got a level 10 treasure key, it would be a tier 1 treasure key. But if you got a level 70 key, it would be a tier 3. And that would make it to where if you got one at level 10, it's not going to send you to the middle of Gavel, because that wouldn't really be fair if you get a key that you can't even get to the location for it. So I feel that there would be 4 tiers, and each of those tiers would have 20 to 25 boxes hidden throughout the region that you could be led to. Purpose of there being like 20 to 25 per region, and there being 4 different regions based on like levels, and it is just the general areas of the game that are based on those levels, for the most part. But the purpose of it being that there's a lot of the Wynn map that people don't explore. Like, people take time to add all of these cool things into the map and add all this detail to the map, and then people just don't ever see it. Like, you could go and up on top of mountains and everything, there could just be nothing up there, and everybody would play the game exactly the same. But there's not. There's little tents up there and like little hidden camps and stuff. There's nothing in them. There's no chests or anything to go loot, but they're there. People took time to add life to the world, and nobody ever sees it. And so if there was this little box there that you might occasionally run over there to get your treasure from, you might start to, see the map more and get more of an appreciation for how well detailed the world is. So to break it down, the tier 1 keys would be for level 5 to 25. Again, every 5 levels there's a new key. So there'd be 5 keys in that region, and that would be the Wynn Plains. So if we look here, zoom out, that would basically just be this region right here, which I think it would also include this area right there, but it'd probably be bad to go on that side of it. But it'd be this region here. The tier 2 would be for level 30 to 50, which would be the desert and mesa area over here. It would have the Nesak Tundra here. And then it would have, if I can stop scrolling, it would also have the Levigar Plains and the Olux Swamp. So that would be the regions for the tier 2 keys. And that would be level 30 to 50 for the keys. The tier 3 keys would be level 55 to 75. And they would be all of the smaller islands throughout the ocean that you can take the Sea Skipper to. So just all these islands here. You could just go to any one of those for it, which is a little painful, I would imagine. But I don't think we need to have one on every single island. It's just, this is the region. Like, if there's a key on this island, that's the tier key that would get it. If there's a key on this island, that's the tier key that would get it. I don't think you would put a key on every single island. But it would be all of those, and then would also include the Light Forest, the Dark Forest, and the Durnal Jungle. And then lastly, the tier 4 would be level 80 to 105, and that is 20, not 20, it is 6 key levels, because there's 21 total, which is really weird. And then these keys would be obtained over in Corcus, the entire like eastern half of Gavel, and then the Silent Expanse. So, going for my reasoning behind it being a full tier 3 every time you open it. So, you go, you killed this thing, you got a key. And you now have to go and traverse all the way over to a remote area of Wynncraft, a relatively remote area of Wynncraft, to get your loot and then travel back. Traveling back is going to be basically instant. Traveling out depends on, your means of transportation and your build, but it could take anywhere from a couple minutes to, could take you like 15, 20 minutes if you're going like on a massive scavenger hunt. You have absolutely no idea where you're going. And so I feel that it should feel like it was a worthwhile reward for that trip. You don't want to make that trip and then just get like a stack of emeralds and an unidentified rare. Like that feels wasted. Nobody's going to want to do a key again if they just get basic little loots like that. But if they get a full chest of loot, maybe they'd want to do it again. And then the keys themselves require a bit to acquire. You have to either go out of your way to farm for the keys, or you have to just get a little bit lucky. They're not super rare. Legendaries aren't super rare in the late game at all, but they would require a little bit of time and effort to get. You're not going to be swimming in thousands of them after like an hour, but you're also not going to be sitting there with, you know, no keys for 10 hours of farming. So you get a nice balance. You put in a little bit of time, you get the key, and then you go spend a few minutes to get the loot from the key. And when you compare it to loot running, it is going to be a slower rate of acquiring loot than loot running would be, because you're not opening a dozen or 24 chests over the course of like 5 to 10 minutes. You're getting one chest in that time, and so I feel that the chest should be guaranteed to be full. That way you're not, you know, competing with anybody or gambling at all. So it'd be like a nice change of pace. So rather than just running the same loop over and over and over and over again, trying to get that one mythic that you're going for, you could go farm some mobs that are around the level that the mythic drops at to get a key, and just get a few of those keys and then go hunt the chests for them, those keys, just as a nice change of pace. Wouldn't be better, but it might be a little more fun to mix it up occasionally. But then imagine the experience for new players. So like, just imagine, okay? Just picture this, and you're like, close your eyes right now. Close your eyes. I don't care what you're doing. Close your eyes and picture this, okay? Imagine you're a new player. You're just in the Nivla Woods, okay? And you kill a mob or you open a chest, and inside it is a key. That key, you right click it, and it tells you to head north. Realistically, we're gonna say head north west, because you're in Nivla Woods. But you follow it, and you arrive at the destination over at the beach by Katoa Ranch, an area that, like the beach, like up on like the northern side of the ranch, that you don't really ever need to go to for anything. And say over there, you find this little box. You click on the box and you're given a chest full of gear and emeralds and potions and stuff, like just all the things that you needed. And you would be so excited. Like as a new player, you went on this massive like little scavenger hunt thing and you got rewarded with amazing loot for it. It's like you're gonna remember that. And the next time you find one of those keys, you're gonna drop whatever you're doing and you're gonna go hunt that treasure down. And I feel that that has a lot of value, like giving new players something exciting. Because mythics are an exciting thing, but mythics are exclusive to people up at high level. Like the lowest leveled mythic you're gonna get is around level 70. And so you have to make it all the way up to around 70 to get mythics at all. Like the Archangel that I have is level 69. And I think that's the lowest leveled mythic. There might be one slightly lower. I don't remember for sure. I know it's around the lowest. This is either the lowest level or the second lowest level mythic weapon in the game. And there's like a small little selection of mythics that are around that level, but then all the others are like level 90 plus, basically. Like they're around level 90 or higher. It's like, I think it's like 85 is the lowest leveled other one. Maybe it's like 82 or something. It's in the 80s and 90s and the hundreds. That's all the other mythics. And new players, they don't really have anything. Like you start off playing the game, you get a legendary. And a legendary is cool. And it feels nice. But then you get another one. And then another one. Or if you're me, you get 12 of them in the course of like 20 minutes. Just from mob drops. I don't know how that happens. They just keep dropping them. But it wears off rather quickly when you just keep getting them one after another after another. and they aren't like this big thing. Like you'll get a legendary and you're like, oh, it's not even better. It's just different. And so then for newer players, fabled items would be something that they'd actually be going for, like something that would actually be like a rare, cool thing to acquire. The lowest leveled fabled item that you can get in the entire game is level 32. It is the Philosopher Legs, which is for Shaman. So if you're not playing Shaman, those are literally useless to you. Next leveled mythic that you can get. As a drop, mind you, I'm not counting any quest-related things, is Galloping Spurs, which are actually really cool. They allow you to do something cool. And so that's actually like would be a really cool find. And for me, that was amazing. That when I found that the first time, it was a wonderful experience. But as you get higher level, fabled items lose the appeal because you're getting closer and closer to mythics, and generally speaking, fabled items don't really hold a candle. Most of them aren't very good at all. Some of them don't have major IDs, which doesn't make sense to me. That's sort of the whole gimmick behind fabled items. They're supposed to be more common than mythics and not as powerful as mythics, but then they have, you know, special major IDs. And some of them don't have major IDs and they like have like really good stats and they are just good to use. But not all of them. Some of them are just bad. So it's not a great thing, and it's like the mid-game thing to go for. And these keys could be all of the game. And they aren't like some super, super, super rare thing to acquire. They're just a thing to acquire and to go for and to enjoy that new players would strive for, and like mid-game and late-game players would use as an alternative way of farming for loot, just for fun. I think it'd be really cool. I think it'd be a great thing to add to the game. I will at some point make like an official little like suggestion for this on the forums. If someone beats me to it after I make this video, like if you go and you type it up, go ahead. I'm not super like attached to this being like my posted idea on the forums, but if no one gets around to it before I can type it up, I will be posting one. So if I get that posted, I'll be sure to link it down below, but it won't be there right away. So a couple other things I wanted to cover briefly, because not everybody checks the community posts that I make, which is a shame. You should always check that. If there's ever anything that's going on with my channel, like any like delays that are happening with uploads and everything, I always put them on the community posts. So be sure to check the community tab or check your feed for the community posts whenever I drop them. But I'm about, as of right now, recording this, I'm about a third of the way through recording my next Dungeon Master Challenge episode. I should be able to have that finished and then edited and uploaded sometime later next week, as of, you know, this upload being, as of this video being uploaded and stuff. So definitely look forward to that. I'm going to basically the 11 a.m. Monday streams, that's basically just going to be a consistent thing. I'm basically just going to stream Wynncraft on Monday at 11 a.m. until I get to a point where I want to do like a different game maybe, but 11 a.m. streams are just happening. For now, they're all going to be beta streams, but when the beta stuff is done, I might do some other things. Maybe I'll record some random other stuff that I might turn into videos later. Or maybe you'll get to see me making, or at least recording an episode of like the Dungeon Master Challenge live or something. Who knows? Currently, over on the community post, I have a poll running I'll link it down in the pinned comment if you haven't seen it already, where I've given 4 game options. So right now on my channel, I have the Wynncraft content, and I'm going to do like a proper series on another game. I've got 2 mostly unedited series running where it's just like the gameplay with me talking and playing the game and having fun with minimal editing, if any, for Risk of Rain 2 and Brotato. Risk of Rain 2 has longer videos. Typically, Brotato around half an hour is basically where the length of the video should stop. It should be somewhere around like 20 minutes to 30 minutes, like never any more than that, typically. The poll is between Terraria, Stardew Valley, Core Keeper, and Binding of Isaac. Repentance, specifically. Binding of Isaac would be another minimal editing series. The other 3 would be much more edited. They would be more like my Wynncraft videos, and where they're getting edited like consistently, but because there's a lot more going on, the time between cuts would be a lot shorter. So they'd be more edited, but there'd be much less progression per episode, and so it would feel more like you're going with me through every step of the journey. It's the best way I can think of to put that. So be sure to go vote on that poll. There is a specific game on that poll that I want to win the poll. I don't think it will, but I want it to. I'm not going to say which one. It's about it for this Ramble video. It's a little bit of a shorter one. It's only like 20-something minutes, so I thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all later.